Welcome back. In this section, we're going to look at the different properties of logs. So take a look at this screen. It looks really complicated, but I'll try and break it down and make it nice and simple for you. Go ahead and pause it, and you can write all these down. I'm going to move along and work on these one by one to hopefully make some sense out of them. So this first property we have here is what's called the product property. And it says that if we have two logarithms, with the same bases, notice these both have base 8, then we can combine them. So if we're adding them together, the way we combine them is we'll keep the exact same base 8, and if we're doing addition, then we're going to multiply together 6 times 12. 6 times 12. So if we're doing addition, we can multiply what we're taking the logs of together. So we end up with log base 8 of 6 times 12 is 72. So in this section, we're just going to be simplifying things down a little bit, just looking at the laws, not actually coming up with values. We're not going to get that this is equal to 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that. So just looking at combining different things. So if we have the same bases and addition, we can multiply these two values together. All right? So now let's take a look at subtraction. So our law up here, this is kind of math speak, but basically what it says is if we have the same bases and we're subtracting, then we divide what we're taking the log of. So this would be the log, same base, base 3, of 12 divided by 4. And we know that 12 divided by 4 is 3. So we get log base 3 of 3. All right. Next we have, this is kind of like the power of a power law we looked at before. If we have an exponent, so we have log base 2 of x to the power of 5. Now if we have an exponent inside of our log, we can automatically take it out and put it in front of the log. So it would look like this: 5 times the log base 2 of x. It's just a simpler way of writing it out. And this would be our answer. The last rule that we're going to look at is what's called the change of base formula. So the change of base formula says that if I have, let's make something up here, we'll say log base 2 of 16. I can rewrite this as log 16 over log 2. All right. If I want to, I can put a base in here, the same base, or I can just leave it like that. If a log doesn't have a base, it has an imaginary 10 here. All right. So if there is, this would be the same thing as just log of 16. All right. So I can put this into my calculator just to double check it, make sure it works. Let's see if we do the log. Nope. How I got all this. All right, let's try again. Log base 2 of 16, we get 4. Or if I do the log try this, log 16 over log 2, we also get 4. So my change of base formula worked. And notice my calculator automatically put a 10 in there, even though I didn't. All right, so quick review. We have, when we add logs together with the same base, we can multiply what's inside. When we subtract logs with the same base, we divide what's inside the log. And if we have an exponent, we can move it to the front of the log. And then lastly, my change of base formula, where my base goes in the denominator, and what I'm taking the log of goes in the numerator. Just a different way of writing things. So it's just manipulating logs and using the properties here, not really solving for anything. Let me know in class if you guys have any questions.